you to admit. And I thought that it's important because that just helps you to come forward and give your time. I'm very happy that my life, it's my life, it's our life, is spearheaded by my very precious partners. I have Madhuri, who has stuck with me in thick and thin. She's been with me in all my journey. And really, sometimes tears rolls my eyes when I see all of you just standing by me. I love you all. I love you really all. And thank you so much. Maybe I haven't been able to really get the time to even put words to my feelings. But today, I really want to say to Madhuri, to Ankita, to Sriram, I know how he has so much of things has happened in the institute, but Sriram has always been with me as a guiding force. He's just there at the one call, he's there. Is Madhuri, Ankita, Rohit, Shikha, and now I'm also, armed with Jayashri. Jayashri is
তাও
joining us.
একটু বাইরে থেকে দেখ আমার ওই নীল ব্যাগের মধ্যে আমার হেডফোনটা আছে, একটু এনে দিবি বাবা?
So thank you all of you. I don't have any words more to say, but just be what you are. We love you all. Must tell you that today's training session is really getting spearheaded by none other than Mr. Vibhor Tandon. He has been a head of MCX. I have seen him in a different gamut altogether, in a different attire, in a different designation. He's been heading the very, very important.
ব্যাগটার মধ্যে বা কোথাও আছে নেই?
Who's that? Samsung E236P. अपना है क्या? I think बाहर पर है. अच्छा, some disturbance. I think उसी से यार उसको mute है ना? So I'm so happy that he really took out his time because I've seen him in so many different avatars. He will tell you what life is all about, how to enhance your own skills, and how to bring stardom to yourself, if that's the word that I can just use. I'm elated, and I'll also be a part of this training because I think learning and relearning is very, very important. And sometimes certain things but it's important to get that reiterated in the format of what the speaker has to say. So let's put our hands together for him. So he is Mr. Vibhor Tandon, and I must introduce you to Ms. Pragya Jundal. She is the company secretary, and she wears and dons a lot of hats. I don't know how many different roles that she plays, but she sometimes look quite a replica of mine because when I see her moving in different directions with so many kind of different roles, she's the one who's actually led me to Vibhorji, and that's how I know Vibhorji. And Pragya and me, we are working together in a startup council where she and her team is doing pretty well to accelerate startups and small MSMEs. Let me tell you, she's very active and she's a vice president of MSME Development Forum, the forum that your ma'am runs as a president. She's also very actively running the Laghu Udyog NGO that's doing a lot of work for tiny industries. Okay, a lot of work is being done for small and medium. For the micro industries, they are doing a lot of work. She's a very favorite of our current His Excellency Governor of West Bengal. So people see spark, and that's the reason why such great people, such accomplished souls get enjoined. So I'm sure she'll be very helpful in taking this forward and even otherwise. Thank you, Pragya, for all of it. So without much ado, let us give the floor to Vibhorji. Even Sumit sir has sent greetings to all of you. He'll join us in a while.
Good afternoon, everyone. So whenever we attend any class, जब हम लोग कहीं भी होते हैं, सब हम लोग को पहले ये रहता है कि हम लोग आज क्या सीखेंगे, क्यों हम लोग यहाँ पर हैं. So I would like you to tell about Vibhor sir a little bit. He's a transformation coach. Transformation ऐसा word है जो हम लोग अभी तक बहुत कम हम लोग उससे rendezvous हुआ है. Transformation, because we hear about motivational speakers, we hear about workshop skills. Transformation is something which is like it is sparking the magical wand within you. हम लोग के सबके अंदर एक मैजिक वॉन्ड होता है, but we don't realize it is there. And we see so many doors in front of us, but there is another door, another levels where we can reach, we cannot visualize at present. So wherever we are, if we have a transformation coach, a life coach with us, a transformation coach with us, we can move up to the next level. तो ये ही होता है transformation. And it is not that it is going to happen in many sessions. Transformation can happen in 1 second. It happens immediately in real time, and it just takes 1 second to transform yourself. It's like, you know, prince being the frog being kissed by the princess. तो हम लोग जब हम लोग विभोर सर के साथ इंटरेक्शन लेंगे, तो वी शुड बी विद अ ओपन माइंड कि हो सकता है आप में ऐसी चेंजेस आ जाए जो यू विल बी buoyant, you will be on another level. So be prepared for that. And before starting the session, मैं 3 लोगों से पूछूंगी जिनका हम लोग थोड़ा वीडियो रिकॉर्ड करेंगे. Okay, that what are you expecting from this session? So we will also have a small before after. So ये we will have 3 videos recorded from 3, any 3 of you can volunteer.
Share some videos.
And I would also like to share some of the videos from our previous sessions before starting, so that you will know what goes about. Okay. So we have downloaded video here on this
I
slide.
think it has to be turned around because they are facing at the other side. So they won't be able to see.
After it will be better.
After testing.
After.
Okay. 3 जन से मैं फिर एक वो कर लेता है. So who are going to volunteer? Any 3 of you? What are you expecting from this session?
So you can just sit and speak out. I mean, it's nothing like specifically who's Sorry?
Imaginary क्या होती है? Elimination of negative energy. Okay.
Interesting. Very nice.
Positive work-wise.
Great.
Some marketing skills.
Okay. Very nice.
The confidence that we all carry.
Okay.
Radhika, our approach to the work will be better.
Okay. So we will share it easily with you. You start. He's opening the videos actually. Okay, we'll share just one video. You hold it. Pause it. She is Vidanshi. We had a session where we spoke to a lot of business owners and how they could become unicorns or great in their fields. So when she came, like you said, my approach should change. She had a phobia of a lot of things. She had low confidence, but after the session, this was her reaction. So something she was getting stuck with, now she is confident that she'll overcome. So these are a few examples. Now let us go to the session.
Good afternoon and a very, very warm welcome to all of you. Can you hear me? Yes. I deliberately am soft because most of the times we are interacting and we are not interacting most of the times with you, but there is something else inside you, okay, with whom we interact. So I think some of you have attended the last session of ours? I think you were there in one of the sessions. Madhuri was there. Okay. So you have some amount of understanding of what exactly you do. So I would, start off by talking about what is primarily the reason for all of you being here today. As Mamta mentioned, that you all are together, and I'm sure you enjoy each other's company, and you are expecting that this is the training, and there's a lot of stuff you carry back home to read and come back to us. But there is a small news which I want to share. We don't have any PPT in this particular program. In fact, as a matter of fact, if I would have delivered around around 150 such workshops so far, I've never shared any PPT in either of them, right? But we have at least more than 300 testimonials of people around sharing what exactly they benefited of. So I started by talking about the different ways in which you get transformed. Where exactly do you want to be is very important. Wherever you are in life, currently, you all aim to be somewhere else, right? Is there somebody who doesn't want to be somewhere else? In the sense, I'm not talking about being in a different office. I'm talking about a different perspective. If you are here, right, you want to be here, or you want to go back down here, or you want to rise in life? Where? Rise in life. So how many of you are there who don't want to really, be, you want to be static wherever you are? Anybody here? No. How many of you want to really move ahead? Yeah. Excellent. So when you need to move ahead, right, what exactly is the most important mantra that you have, which can distinguish between somebody who is successful and somebody who is not successful? If I really want to make it really, really specific, what all of you are looking for, what all of us are looking for is success, right? What are the essentials or key elements of being successful?
Consistency.
Sorry? Yeah. What is the most important when you're talking about you being here and you really moving ahead in life? I'm sure we have other people there in Mumbai also. If you want, you can share. Attitude, right? But tell me, what is the most important thing here? You know where you want to be. The most important is that you know where you want to be, right? If you don't know where you want to be, then where do you reach? You just start off, but you don't reach anywhere, right? So now, the most important part, of course, is having your goal clarity. Don't mind if you don't understand my handwriting. I have a beautiful handwriting, but nobody understands it. So goal clarity probably is the most important part. When people talk about reaching somewhere, they talk about everything that they want in life to reach there, right? But they don't really talk about where exactly they want to reach, right? So goal clarity, the most important part of it. Second is, of course, your goal alignment, right? The goals. How many of you are clear about your goals? Here's the biggest challenge which I found. The most interesting part of the story. If I would have, I would have worked with more than 800 people one-on-one, and if we would take into account the group sessions, we would have done such programs and covered at least around 13,000 people so far, right? And almost a 90% success rate in terms of surprising things. We have worked with people, and they have come across after the sessions. People have come to us and told us very astonishing things. Some of them have said that they have lost their migraine, which was there for them almost 15 years. Somebody says that the tumor disappeared after this small session that we did 2 or 3 times. There was a lady who came to me around 6 years back. So we used to say, and somebody recommended her to meet me. So she came to me with swollen legs, right? And she comes and shares it with a big bunch of reports, prescriptions, etc. She would have had around 35 doctors, and nobody could really pinpoint what the issue was, right? She comes to me and shows me all that. I said, I'm a doctor. You can keep it all, but I'm a doctor. Let us talk about it. And let us try out something. From whatever I know, we can have some benefit right now. Probably you can improve. So we started talking to her. We did a small session with her. And after the session, she opens her eyes. And I told her that maybe within a few days, we will definitely get good results. She said, oh my God, 50% of the swelling is gone. Right? So this was one of the experiences that people had. So we have worked with entrepreneurs. We are currently working with some of the startups, as Mamta was mentioning. And the way we got one of the startups who just came to us was that he came to me for a one-to-one coach. And he comes to me after a week and says, my perspective has changed. The way I thought things should be. I want to be a consultant now. We have worked with entrepreneurs, we have worked with sports people, musicians, mountaineers, business people, of course, a lot of executives around. And each of them are benefited in different ways. So what are the most important things that you need? You were talking about this. Goals, clarity, alignment, goal alignment, etc. What else? Do you need capabilities? Right? Very important, right? You need capabilities. What are the capabilities that you need? What are the capabilities that you need? Yeah, confidence is there. Yes, of course. The most important ones which people will share about is confidence, consistency, focus, etc., and so on and so forth. Right. Right. Good communications. Yes, yes, that's very much. Sorry.
What is happening here? To understand the environment.
Okay, understanding the environment. So you are saying that you should have more awareness about what is happening. Being mindful is what you're talking about, right? Okay, so very interesting capabilities which all of you need, which I believe, there is a distinction between people who have been successful and not been successful. So very, very important capability that people need. And I was talking about this, is having your vision absolutely clear. So when you talk about vision, I also talk about visualization, right? So if you want something to be there, you have to see something, see that absolutely clearly. Can you see that absolutely clearly? Can you see that in absolute intricate details? Can you see yourself? If somebody wants to be a CEO, if somebody wants to have a particular pop in a chopper, you are able to see the chopper. Can you see the color of the chopper? Can you see what clothes you are wearing when you're sitting on that particular engine and about to start it? Right? Can you see the smile and the twitch on your cheeks? Can you do that? That is a level of visualization, right? A very, very important capability people want is visualization. Another important capability which all of you need, and these are all parts of genius traits. One of the chapters of my book which I am writing about is talking about genius traits. The difference between a genius and yourself. The genius is not somebody who was a born genius or a prodigy. And you cannot be that. People say that. I cannot be that. Because geniuses are born genius. No, I don't believe that. Because I've seen people becoming a genius from nowhere. Right? I was reading about a particular lady who started climbing, mountains at the age of 60. 59, to be very specific. And when she went to people and when she talked about it, they were laughing at her. This is the age, you should relax, you should do other things, you should talk about, think about your grandchildren. Why are you really thinking about climbing mountains? And the first mountain, she tries to climb. She's not able to complete even 25% of the journey. And what happens after 5 years? She ends up climbing around, I think, 87 or 88 different peaks. And she was 67. And then she's targeting the best that she can do. Right? And that is the time when people say that you believe right now, people of my age at 46 or 47 and people at the age of 50, 55 saying that अब तो कुछ नहीं हो सकता. Right? Things are over. But look at her. Right? And then I remember you remember there was a record which was set by two handicapped people who crossed the English Channel. Right? So it's just, you're talking about an English Channel being crossed by people who are handicapped. So there is definitely something else which is needed to achieve that genius. And one of the most important things that geniuses achieve, be it in any particular area, be it in sports, be it in science, be it in the corporate world, what exactly is that people do? Yeah, but is there something else? People say there is some God-gifted thing coming in, something special coming in, some power coming in, something special which makes a person to have 10 or 12 wickets or maybe around 250 runs in one single particular innings or creating a record. What is that exactly? Right? Mindset is important, yes. But what is the mindset we're talking about? It is an altered state of mind. You are not in your normal state of mind, right? So it's an altered state of mind. Altered state of mind. What exactly do I mean by an altered state of mind? You are not in yourself. Have you seen somebody who has got really hurt after an accident? Right? And if you've really seen somebody who's got really hurt after an accident, and you see is probably something very dangerous is happening, you would have probably got one of the legs or something got amputated or something broke. But then the reaction of the person doesn't let you know that. How does that happen? Yes, because your mind has certain chemicals, so many chemicals, serotonin, dopamine, so many chemicals, which the mind starts releasing the moment there is an emergency coming. And the person shifts into a altered state. And that's the time when the person stops feeling the pain. But can you imagine that person being in that state or feeling that pain for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours till the time the ambulance arrives? The person will keep shouting and behaving hysterically, but does it happen? It does not happen. And is it something which is God gifted to him? It is something which is there inside him. Right? And these are superior capabilities that we're talking about. These are not normal capabilities. Confidence, having being consistent, being focused, these are very basic capabilities which I think all of us have. But what are the superior capabilities we're talking about? This all, of course, leads to mindset broadly. It's a very broad set, mindset. And when you really want to be successful, a very important mindset that you want is an abundance mindset. If broadly divided, there are two kinds of mindsets. One is abundance. What is the other one? Scarcity mindset. You were there in that last session. That's cheating. So you are aware of it, right? What is the difference between these two mindsets? The people who have been who really are successful have that scarcity mindset shifted out somewhere else. And what is the difference between a scarcity mindset and abundance mindset? Since you already started, let us see how much you remember about it. I'm happy you are good too. And when the movie starts and nobody says, don't spoil the suspense by telling what she would have probably shared a bit already. You already shared? No. Great. Yes.
So my awareness mindset is a positive state of mind. I know where it goes, where I want to be.
That is there, of course, yes. And what else? In abundance mindset, yes. Yeah, excellent. Very nice. So you have gratitude in abundance mindset. Right? You are not attached to him, that's a different. But in abundance mindset, what we're talking about is that out for yourself, but for everybody else. Right? You're not thinking about achieving something particularly for myself. Right? And that's a different thing. I'm not saying what she's saying is wrong. I would term it in my language as disassociation. So many times people talk about disassociation doesn't mean that you leave everybody in the world and go over to the mountains at all. Right? A disassociation has an entirely different meaning, absolutely. So abundance mindset is when not only you're full of gratitude all the time, but also that you are not looking as you. I mean, you're looking at yourself as yourself, but you're looking at yourself as a system, as a combination of all the people around. I am not myself. I am the set of people around. I am the set of the team around. I am the set of my family around. And that is the time abundance mindset. What happens exactly when this abundance mindset is there and when you have unconscious rapport, which is probably one of the most important superior skills. Unconscious rapport. What happens exactly? Have you been to a doctor when you are not well? And by the time you come out of the doctor's clinic, you're already 50% better. Right? As if some magic has happened. I've seen so many times, people are smiling and laughing the moment they come out. How does that happen? Some magic the doctor does? Why? So the same thing happens with you when you have that mindset. You become a doctor and people around you, become people who have something to take away from you all the time. There is something called vibrations, right? And that is far far away from the abstract stuff such as something which the alternate sciences talk about this. They call it as aura and Reiki and stuff like that. And I'm also a Reiki practitioner by the way, and I really do Reiki people in different countries around the world. But what I'm talking about is something very scientific, right? And this, according to the brainwave theory, when you talk about the unconscious mind, there's an unconscious rapport that you have with people, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not, whether you want it or not, you always are an unconscious rapport with people around. Right? It's not that I want to have unconscious rapport. It's not that I want to have that rapport with people. No. And that is the reason when somebody is saying something in front of you, so many times it happens. And that's not a coincidence. Right? There is a book written by Deepak Chopra, and he talks about the power of creating coincidences. One of the chapters of my book will be related to that. But what is this coincidence that happens all the time when you are with people and you're thinking alike? And let people always think alike. That's something you would always say. When oh, really? You were also thinking the same thing? Both of us are great. Yeah? I'm very, very happy. But at the same time, why is it happening? Because whenever you are in unconscious rapport with people, everything around you starts becoming similar. Right? People who have stayed together for a long, long time don't not only talk like each other, use the same language, but also start looking like each other. And there's a number of times when people say the husband and wife is so similar. My God, how is that happening? I'm not really mentioning about people who have lived with dogs for a long, long time. But what I'm saying is, I have a very good friend of mine who is Subramanian, and a photograph of him and himself and him on Instagram, and people say, oh my God, it's difficult to say who's cuter. No, there is something inside our bodies which is known as mirror neurons. And this is something which is science, and not something which I have created. Right? The first time when mirror neurons were discovered, people thought it was only monkeys who can have these mirror neurons and they can mirror people. When you see monkey throwing a banana, other monkey throwing a banana, right? So it's not that I'm not saying all of us are monkeys, but what I'm trying to tell you is that neurons, these mirror neurons, have been there with us since the time we were born. Right? Mirroring is one of the most automatic capabilities that you have developed most of the times. And that's the time when you see a child speaking and you say, oh my God, she must be that lady's child. Right? And that automatically happens. Now, mirroring is one of the capabilities which has to be developed, which is part of the unconscious rapport. And automatically, when you are in rapport with somebody and you have an abundance mindset, what exactly happens is the vibes that you are sending to people, the vibrations that you send to people, change in that. And that is a time when unconscious synergies happen. And there is something called collaborative brilliance, which we talk about. Are you aware of it? There is something called, unfortunately, whatever I teach you, whatever we talk about the words, and whatever words, whatever terminologies we use, you won't be finding this, even in the book. So that's really, really sad. Maybe you'll find some of it, but some of it you might not be finding. So there is something known as collaborative brilliance, right? And this is the time when the synergies are created automatically. And this is the benefit of having a mindset which is an abundance mindset. Right? What exactly happens when you continuously give something good towards something? Automatically, what happens? You start receiving the same. Right? And if you start giving, if you notice something, and don't do this experiment at any particular point of time, but if somebody is, inside your mind, somebody is giving gali to somebody all the time, suddenly this person comes and shocks you. देखो मैं सोच ही रहा था कि ये ऐसा ही है. And probably it's a result of something which I have been doing inside. Please don't do this with anybody. Right? But this is something which happens. Now, if you keep thinking about, somebody being a nice person all the time, it's very nice, suddenly comes and that's your man. And says, how are you doing? Right? And how does it happen? It's a result of the unconscious rapport, which is there, right? So one of the most important things which we talk about, which we have still not talked about, we're talking about altered state. So that makes very important to understand. To achieve brilliance, what is the most important thing you want? What is the most important thing in life? Is the state that you are in. Right? If somebody has everything in life, one of the people who committed suicide a couple of years back was one of the richest of people in the US, and he had written a note where he said he couldn't really carry on anymore because he was not happy, right? So that drives us to the point as to what exactly is the most important thing that you do in life. The state you are in. Being in a good state, being in a positive, talk about positive, I would say resourceful, right? Being in a resourceful state is probably the most important thing that you want. Probably whatever you're wanting to do is for that only, right? You're wanting to earn money, you're wanting to have a good bank balance, have a big vehicle to really drive around, have a good partner, have a good family, stay in a nice house. But what does it all give you? Being in good state, right? What if you have this state all the time? Whenever you are doing something and you have a great state at that particular part, what happens exactly?
You give them 100%.
Sorry?
You give them 100%.
Yeah, you don't give it 100%, but you give it 200%. Right? And that is what exactly is most important. We'll do a small exercise right now before we start out, and shifting into a state of demand, shifting into a very, very important capability of this people is shifting into a high power state on demand. Is something which I have been teaching to a lot of people number of times, and we will work on it today. Right now, what we do is the first exercise that we will do right now. Is some of you would have already done it, and I can see people smiling at each other, and I can understand that people are looking forward to it. Some of you, right? Now we will do this small exercise where we are able to shift into the state which you want. Correct? And then we work on goals, the most important part of it. goals. I would like all of you to write your goals. Let us do one thing. Let us, take 5 minutes of your time, right? And write down all your personal goals. Right? You need 2 columns. Everybody has something to write on. So one side. So on one side you write personal goals. On one side you write personal goals, and on the other side you write organizational goals. You say personal goals, and on the other side you write organizational goals. Yeah, it has to be a minimum of 5. You can't take 2 different pages. On one you write personal goals, and the other page you write organizational goals. On the personal goals side, it can be anything. So on the personal goals side, it can be anything. And also will not be anything. You say, I want to be the CEO of a company. Right. Or if you say, I'll head a unicorn, she will be happy. Don't worry. It can be, I want to build a business empire worth 20,000 crores. You can do that. Somebody can write down probably that you want to be a singer. There's nothing wrong in that. If I can start singing at the age of 40, anybody can do that. I started running at the age of 42. Personal goals are personal goals. It can be different. I want to be a singer. I want to be a great YouTuber. I want to travel to 50 countries in the world. I want to have 100 crore empire. I want to be the CEO of an organization. And there's no end to it. It can be anything abstract. I want to help 1 lakh people do something great. My goal is to help at least 1 million people, achieve what they want to achieve in life. Do we have people from Mumbai there? We have Mr. Hariharan. I'm not able to see them anymore. Shriram, I think. Mr. Shriram is there? Are they on mute? Okay. You're able to do it, Mr. Shriram? You're on mute now. You can speak. No, he's still on mute. Ajay, you have to unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Are you listening to this entire discussion? Are you participating?
I'm seeing, sir. I'm seeing this.
Are you enjoying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I wanted to write down the goals as well. Okay. So Mr. Shriram is there, and there's one more person, I think, from Mumbai. Rohit. Mr. Rohit is there.
Yeah, hi. I'm here.
Yeah. So are you also part of it?
Enjoying it thoroughly. I'm doing the exercise as well.
Sorry.
I'm enjoying it thoroughly and I'm writing it down as well.
Excellent. So I want to write down goals which are 2 different sets of goals. We also have somebody called Jayashree, Kavita, and Supriya. Where are they from?
Kavita is from the office. She's also a trainee.
Okay. So these guys are there. Jayashree is there.
Yes, sir, I'm here. And I'm
Kavita
enjoying
is there.
also.
Excellent. So now you will be writing down 2 sets of even Kavita and Supriya, 2 sets of goals. One is the personal side, and second is the professional side. So I'll just come back in a minute, but no cheating. I'm sure there's nothing you can cheat about it, but still no cheat. You should have your own personal goals. Please don't copy anybody else. If somebody has difficulty in finding out what exactly you want, you can write that down. On a personal front, I want this. right? But on professionals front, I'm still a little doubtful. It's okay. There's nothing wrong about it. There's nothing wrong about it. You have the right not to know. Fundamental right, which is not part of the Constitution, but the right to be ignorant for some certain things, you know. So I want to open a problem. It can be something as abstract on personal side as I want to make everybody happy and all. There's nothing wrong with that, absolutely. I'll be back in a minute. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. How many people? Recording is on? Okay. Has Shira and Supriya and these people have they completed or Jayashri, Rohit?
Yes, yes, yes. I have. Believe Shriram sir would have also been done now.
Who's this? I think it's Rohit, is it?
Yes, yes. I said I am done. I believe Shriram sir would have also been done by now.
Excellent, excellent. So what I want is everybody will start off with this small exercise. Somebody's outside, I would love them to be back. Right? I'm sure you're just going out for a second. Please come. I want everyone to be there when we do this exercise because you won't be missing, right? And we have the videos out of all these people, Jayashri and Rohit and Shira and Supriya. Can we have the videos out? Rohit and everybody. Yeah, great. Nice to see smiling faces around. Is unconscious.
Same here, sir.
Sorry?
Same here, sir.
Yeah, great. So everyone is back?
Yes.
Yes. Except Mamta, of course. Don't worry, I'll make her late. Okay, so we'll start off. Okay, from one side, and everybody goes around talking about their goals, right? Right. And you say your name, and then you mention about the goals that you have. And there is no wrong or right answer as such, right? So don't worry. And after this meeting or this particular session, I'm sure Rudy will tease you also. Well, I request you not to do that, right? So there is no right or wrong answer. So who do we start off with? Which way? The ladies first. So we'll start off with this side, Madhuri, right? And the spotlight shifts to Madhuri now. I want everyone to look at the person when the person is sharing the goals. And there is a reason behind it, right? We are talking about skills, capabilities. Very important capability is being able to notice what is going on around you with people, right? And your unconscious rapport is with that person. So mirroring is one of the most important capabilities that I was talking about, right? Again, the videos of Rohit, Jayashri, and Supriya and Shriram have disappeared. I would love to have the videos on. Unless you are into something else. I mean, if you're part of the training, it's fine. If you're not part of it, that's okay. Right? Somebody has logged off. Supriya has logged off. Okay. Rohit is there. Shriram is there. Okay. So I want all of you. I know you can't see the others. You can see me probably. Can you see me? What can you see exactly? I don't know where the camera is headed to. You're seeing the faces of people around you. You're able to see me. Which one?
I can see you and I can see Biswajita bringing a glass of water for you, I believe.
Oh, excellent. Great. I can also see your wonderful smile and the positive energy that you have. So a very important capability which I was talking about is mirroring, right? The second advanced stage of mirroring is modeling. When people want to achieve something extraordinary in life, for example, somebody wanting to achieve an Oscar award, somebody really looking forward to be a gold medal, somebody really wanting to have a gold medal in Olympics, or breaking a particular record in cricket. How is it that you are able to do that? A very important capability, which most of these people have when they want to achieve something really superior in life, is being able to mirror. What exactly happens is that when you are in an unconscious rapport with somebody, and when you are able to mirror somebody, you become that person for some time. You're able to acquire or learn the capabilities from this person without spending those 10 years or 5 years or 6 years or 7 days or 10 days that you need to have. Isn't it fantastic? Right? You understand what I'm saying? People who have stayed together for a long time start looking like each other, start talking like each other, start behaving like each other. But the fact that they start looking like each other is the most Fascinating. Which means even the micro cells of your body and your face starts mirroring the people around you. And there's really nothing wrong about having a dog at home. Don't worry about it. Even if there is something similar between the faces, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Right? But what I'm trying to say is that when this is possible, if you are able to mirror somebody, right, and be in that rapport, you are able to acquire the capabilities in a much more shorter span of time. A much more advanced level of that is modeling. The modeling is not the modeling where people are walking on the ramp, wearing fashionable clothes, but modeling is an advanced level of mirroring. You've heard the word of, the term called role model, right? And the role model is somebody who is a role model for somebody else, and people want to be like him, right? And there are people whom you want to be like. Is a time when you're modeling. The skill of modeling is so fantastic that even if you don't have the person in front of you, but you see the person on television, and you start feeling that you are the person, you are able to acquire a lot of capabilities from that person. Isn't it fantastic? Yes. Right. And one of the most interesting masters of this particular field was Milton Erickson. And then we use a lot of faculties when we are training and teaching. One of them, some of them being like the neuro-linguistic programming, the understanding the mind, the unconscious mind therapy, cognitive behavior, and hypnosis, conversational programming. Some of the things which we use, which I use when I'm teaching people, and even embedded commands. Now, these are what are we talking about exactly? Sometimes I get lost. I was talking about modeling, right? So when you are actually doing this, when you are modeling, you are able to acquire. So John Grinder, who was one of the co-creators of neuro-linguistic programming, used to have live demos of this particular skill, where you sit in front of somebody and you acquire that skill and you start using that skill, right? And this was unbelievable for me, right? So there was somebody called Mite, and he was from a remote village of Africa, right? And this person was a touch healer. He used to touch people, they get cured. Now, something similar to that in Reiki, but the only difference being that you start feeling it immediately that you are already healed. Now imagine that you have never learned that particular skill, right? Or like I am a Reiki healer, but you've never learned Reiki, right? You sit in front of me and you mirror me for let's say 10 minutes. And after that, I start sending clients to you. So John Grinder was once in a session, and he was actually doing that. On the stage, he called up this healer, right? He was sitting there. He wanted everybody to actually mirror him and learn the skill and model them. And after 10 minutes, he would call people on the stage and he would actually send clients to him. Why don't you touch him and really relieve him of this particular issue? And the people were getting cured. Now, this is a fantasy. This is really a fantastic explanation or real understanding of how this mirroring and modeling works. Right. So I was talking about why. That is one of the reasons, that why you'll be looking at this person when they're talking about their goals. And a very, very, very important aspect is calibration. Right. So in one of the sessions, I was doing a session with the CBI. I was invited to CBI once, and I was not invited for questioning. Nor was I arrested. So a very, very typical thing that they had is that without a lie detector test, how can you say if the person is telling the truth or telling the lie? Right. So we did a session for around one and a half hours. And after that 1.5 hours, they were more or less able to make out whether the person is saying the truth or speaking the lie. The 3% is amazing, right? Now, calibration, being able to have an observation where you are able to look at the micro muscle movements of people, even of the faces, is something. Somebody was talking about marketing. If you really want to close sales, close deals, and this is one of the capabilities that most of these big deal makers have. The biggest of deal makers, the people who are able to buy out companies at very, very small prices, sell companies at exorbitant prices. The company making a sales of only maybe a 1 crore or 2 crore, or maybe a 10 crore, or maybe a profit of 50 lakhs or 1 crore in a particular year. But the company is sold for 1,000 crores. When people are able to build that, right, you are in unconscious rapport with the person with whom you are making the deal. And at the same time, you are able to look at, make an observation, right, and calibrate the micro movements of the person. Right? Now, representation patterns is something which I talk about later. We just note it down and remind you, right? Talking about communication, representational systems. This is VAK. You heard of VAK? Visual auditory kinesthetic. Right? Some people are visual, some people are auditory, and some people are kinesthetic. Kinesthetic is more feelings. Right? So I would like you, without making the person speaking uncomfortable, look at the person and just make a note. Whether the person is visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. And try to have some kind of a cautious rapport with the person. Okay, I leave the second part. Don't be too confused. Just try to be visual, auditory. That's it, right? Okay, we can be starting with somebody, Madhuri. We can start with you. You can say from there if you want. Or you want to come here, you're welcome. Or we start with Pragya. The wolf. Okay, Madhuri.
So at this point of time,
You need to stand up so people will look at you. Okay, and don't be uncomfortable. And please don't make it. So when everybody is making a note, right? You have to write down something which you feel about, right? The goals, how the person is, whether he's confident about the goals, right? And what exactly, whether she's more visual, whether she's auditory, or whether she is kinesthetic. The feelings, whatever you feel about the person, just write it down. Right? We are not taking a critical analysis of the person in that 1 minute. And don't worry about it. Because she will also be writing about you. So, I mean, you have scores can be settled. So if you write down something, she will also be writing about it. Okay. So yes, Mother.
so
You want this?
oh my God.
Okay.
At this point of time,
I think you come here because Shriram and Jayashree, these are the people who are able to see you, right? Where are the others? The others have logged off. Hi. Yeah, Madhu.
So at this point of time, the
Say your
most
name.
okay.
Okay. What do you do?
Actually, they already know me.
I know you
Sure,
understand what I do.
sure. My name is Madhuri Pandey. I reside at Kolkata, Lipton. I have been recently married. I work here from last 5 to 6 years. In 2018, I have been elevated as partner at Mamta, Binani and Associates. And I look forward to work with you all guys and let us contribute and make our firm the leading firm, not of only Kolkata, but of India.
So then, the clapping should happen after the movie, not before. When somebody's speaking and you start clapping silently, what happens?
So, as far as my personal goals are concerned, at this point of time, the most essential goal for me is that I want to have at least 5 sources of income. Yes, the first is obviously which I am doing means the remuneration which I am getting from this firm. The second is that I have already started investing in shares, so I am getting income from that also. I have helped my cook to start a startup, so
as a partnership. So I will be getting some amount of money from that also. And two, I'm still evaluating that what are the two other sources of incomes which I can work on. The second, my second personal goal is very personal. Maybe at my some part of my heart, I want to be an influencer. So maybe someday, or maybe after 10-15 years, when I will be taking what to say retirement, or maybe when I will not be in a position to work in a firm, or maybe when I want to do something which I like to do, then I would like to do modeling, or maybe making reels, and maybe anything like what we do or what we see on Insta or anything like that. So from that also, if it gets monetized, then maybe I will start earning out of that also. My fourth personal goal is also very personal. Still, since we are, means me, maybe Pragya madam can relate. We are working wives, working daughter-in-law. So maybe at some point of time we are not being able to do justice with our personal life. So I want to create a balance, that is the work-life balance that we all see on TV or in series or anything like that. And we always think that there should be a work-life balance, but it is very hard to maintain. So I want to be a good wife, a good and honest wife, and honest daughter-in-law. I also want, means my last personal goal, means I have written 5. My fifth personal goal is that I want my mom and my mother-in-law to be entrepreneurs. So I want to start some business for them, for my mom and for my mother-in-law as well. Because after marriages, we all have heard that our mother-in-law is also our mother. So I want to do something for her as well. So these are my personal goals. And for organizational goals, all of them are related to each other. I want to help MBA to be the leading firm of India. My first organizational goal is that. Second is that I want to create a happy and positive work environment where I've tried a lot. Maybe at some time I shout, but I always try to create an healthy environment here. Also, I want to keep my colleagues happy. We all should grow together as a team. And I want to be a good leader. I'm trying to, at least. That's all. That's all.
So I'll just share strongly. This is the power of unconscious trap. Since I have been practicing so many, like now it's 2 years since I have been doing this. So when she said I need 2 more sources of income, immediately one thing came into my mind that I said, the source of income can be influencer marketing. And next line she was speaking that I would like to be an influencer. So this is the power of unconscious trap.
Next one. Who's the next one? Yeah, you can present. Yeah, you can present.
Hi, Shriram sir. Hi, Rohit Bhaiya. Hello, everyone. Hi, good morning, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ankita Datta, and I am from Assam. Basically, my parents stay at Assam. I'm from Assam, and I am currently in Kolkata from last 8 to 9 years. So, and I'm with MBA from past 5 years. I have started as a trainee here. Then I was associated with this firm after my membership, and from 2021, I have been inducted as a partner with Mamta and Associates. So, starting with my personal goals, the first one is to buy a home in Kolkata because I have been far away from my family from last 8 years.
No, it's fine. It's fine. You can be yourself and you can share it.
No.
Enjoy your family. Yes.
Sure, sure. But unconscious rapport doesn't mean that everybody starts.
We will start playing. Yes. Good job.
Obviously, some of the people haven't cleared it.
I'm still not being able to understand if she is working बहुत ज़्यादा इसलिए वो रो रही है या फिर she's not-
It's okay.
Oh,
Everybody's part of that. Okay, no worries, no worries. You want to take some 2 minutes off? You sit down. Somebody else? Relax. Somebody else can continue.
No, fine. Sorry. So yeah, to buy a home so that I can bring my parents over to Kolkata and stay with them, and then to travel at least twice a year, maybe abroad, maybe in India, or maybe somewhere. I mean, yeah, abroad or India, and then to I love teaching. I love to explain things, and I'm sure I am able to explain things to my trainees while we are working. So I really want to join hands with the NGO and start teaching to them. So I can be able to give something which I have learned in my life to others. Then to gift a car to my dad, and then to start a business, maybe a small business. I have not decided what I really want to start as a startup, but yeah, somewhere in my mind, I really thought that I can start a business in my life. So these are my personal goals. And starting with the organization goal, the first one is to earn a 6-digit salary, to get a 6-digit salary in a year. And uh, me and Madhuri, I remember when I have started working with her, the first thing which she has told me is to create a beautiful environment in the office, a homely environment. And I'm sure Madhuri also knows that we all know we have friends in CS friends who are working in other firms also, and we know that the culture which we have adopted in this office is very different with the offices our friends are working. I'm sure you all will agree with this thing. Me and Madhuri always try. Me, Madhuri, Shriram sir, Rohit Bhaiya, Shikhadi, we always try to provide everything to you guys in the capacity of a friend and not as a leader or a boss. So yes, I think I want to carry on with this thing, and yes, these are the organization rules.
So anything you want to achieve in the organization, the next, you said of course 6 years.
Yes.
Anything else?
So right now I'm happy with whatever I have. I want more exposure. I want more things to be added in my feathers.
Next time, we will just take a small break here and we'll do the exercise first. Okay? And I think because it will be more impactful when we do this exercise and a process run. Exercise does not mean, maybe a physical exercise or a breathing exercise or something like that. So some people have spinals and because they are aware of what they have to do. I want, a bigger thing which happens. Can I have this one? You want to move this for something? Yeah. You have clicked it. You have a dust. Yes, okay. A very important first thing which you need before you move on to the next step into the shoes of a genius is that your personal challenges are taken care of. Right? Personal challenges are taken care of. So everybody has challenges. Does not mean that that every challenge can be taken care of. But there is one specific challenge, that you think of, which is really vital. It might be something like a mental block, where I'm not able to go through something. It might be an emotional state that there's something which you're really worried about, right? It can be it can be something like probably the ability to speak in public, I'm able to communicate properly. Doesn't mean that I'm standing here and speaking, but even when I'm talking to a group of 5 people, there are times when people fumble, right? So that can be one challenge. There can be somebody who's disrupting you at a particular point of time. There is, somebody whom you come across and you start feeling unresourceful. I won't say negative, but unresourceful, because I believe everything has some resourceful pattern at some point of time, right? So it is unresourceful. Or at a particular point of time, there is some personal issue, like somebody feeling a little scared at times, lack of confidence, having a heaviness in the head, working and feeling lack of energy. Any of these issues, just note down 2 or 3 of the challenges. Think about one challenge. Okay, you don't need to write it down. Think about it. There is one challenge which you need to resolve right now. Right? So let's say that suddenly God appears to you and says that right now there is one thing which I want you to give. Right? I want to gift you. And you don't say that I want a Mercedes car. You will say, he will say, and God tells you that there is one specific problem, one challenge that you have. I need you. I can really relieve you of that immediately. So it is that important, right? And you say the challenge and you are taking care of. Think about the challenge, and we will try to get rid of it on an immediate basis, right? Right? Everybody's ready, right? Okay. So what we do right now is, I believe 2 of them are still there, Jayashree and Rohit. Excellent. So happy that you guys are there. You're able to hear me without the mic also, right? Or this mic is better?
Without the mic is better.
Okay, without the mic is better. I'm so happy. That without the mic is better. Okay, so now what I want you to do is this. You look at your finger, index finger and the thumb, right? This is not a yogic posture or a mudra which we are doing right now. This is a mudra, of course, which helps in concentration, etc. But we are doing it for a specific reason, right? This is one of the patterns which we use in neurolinguistic programming and also Silver's mind control. And this is just an anchor, right? We just need an anchor, and that's why using this index finger and thumb. Touch it. One of the hands, not both, right? One of the hands, and put it down comfortably somewhere on your lap, on the table. You need to sit in a very relaxed posture, right? Relaxed posture, right? And you need to do this, right? And just think about that particular challenge, right? The last time when you face this challenge, the last time when you were facing the challenge, when you were facing anything, when you were facing maybe less energy, when you were doing work, or any other thing which is happening, right? I'm sure Rohit and Jayashree are also doing. You close your eyes. So go back to that time when you were facing the challenge, right? Close your eyes. It's slightly easier if you do that. Close your eyes, Jayashree and Rohit, right? Go back to the time, and almost you're trying to relive that moment in the sense that you're seeing what you're seeing, you're hearing what you're hearing, the challenge that you had at that particular point of time, what people were saying to you, etc. Just one finger and one thumb, all the hands. Okay. I think most of you are there almost. And just open your eyes slowly, right? And what you can do is you can just stand up, all of you, just like I'm standing up. Can you all stand up? Since we're into something unresourceful, right? We will do something resourceful. You just need to shake it off, right? Just shake it off. Okay? You can move your hands and legs, all of it. I wonder what Mamta is thinking. Sumit will come running. There's a big war going on. Right. And you can do anything which some physical activities, we are kind of shutting off that state, you know. You understand what we are doing? We are just moving away the state because that state was not resourceful. Right? And now, so we can do something else. Can somebody sing here? Who can sing? Abhishek. Okay, one of you can sing, otherwise I'll start singing. Abhishek, sing just 2 lines. And everybody will sing it, right? You start. Because the last part was talking about कहने से डरता है. I don't want that, you know, things to be installed again. Maybe you've heard of this song, I don't know, but this song किसी की मुस्कुराहटों पे निशान, किसी का दर्द गिर सके बेगुनाह, किसी के वास्ते प्यार, जीना है किसी का नाम है. Great. I think all of you have come over the state. Sit down, have a great time, take a deep breath, and now is the second part of the story, which is even more interesting, right? And you touch the other finger and the thumb. Now I can see Rohit's camera is on, but it has disappeared. Now, yeah, Jaishi, you have to say something? Okay. No. You done? Both you guys done? Done? Rohit done? Okay.
Done.
Okay. So the other hand and touch the finger and the thumb. Not the same one. Right? The other one. Okay? Only that. Right? Close your eyes and think about the last time you had a really, really good time. You know? If I ask you what was the happiest moment of your life, everybody has that happy moment of life. Right? So think about the happiest moment of life. Anything which comes to your mind. For some people, it'll be recent. It'll be the time that, you know, you've got a promotion or you got an award or something of that sort. And for some people, it'll be really, really long back. You know, something that comes to your mind is something from childhood. But that's okay. You know, whatever comes intuitively to your mind is the happiest moment of your life. Right? You close your eyes, go back to that time. Maybe for somebody who's married and has a child, can be the first time you saw your child. The happiest moment. For some of you, it'll be the face of somebody whom you remember from childhood. That's absolutely fine. For some of you, it's a recent experience. That's absolutely okay, right? So go back to that time and live that moment. You're not thinking about it, but you're going back to that time. And you are thinking, you are living that moment. Right? So go back to that time and live that moment, that happiest moment of your life. You see what you were seeing at that time. Whatever beautiful thing happened at that time, that happy moment. You're seeing what happened around you, the people, yourself, whatever is happening. You're hearing what people are saying. People were saying something beautiful about you. Somebody was expressing love. somebody was expressing gratitude, somebody was just laughing and was so happy. You are hearing what you heard at that time, and you're feeling what you felt at that time. You are feeling exactly what you felt at that time. Please don't take any calls. Very exercise. Go back to the time. Touch your finger and thumb. Okay? You can just relax, leave your pens and pencils over the paper. Just relax. Go back to the time. Relive that moment again. And now I want you to go back to a time when you achieved something. You know, maybe you got an award, maybe you won a race, maybe you simply won a game of chess. That's absolutely fine. But there is something beautiful that happened. You really achieved something. And when you achieve something, it was so beautiful that you wanted to celebrate. And some of you would have started dancing inside, some of you started dancing outside. Go back to the time when you achieved it. Your finger and the thumb should be touching. Leave the other hand should be far away. Your finger and the other hand. You go back to the time when you achieved it. Enjoy it. Some tears come out when you feel that moment. Right? You are enjoying, you're so happy. You're so happy. Because you achieved something. Fully be part of it. You see what you're seeing at that time. People around you clapping, congratulating, happy. Parents feeling proud of you. You hear what you were hearing at that time. You are hearing what you were hearing at that time. Right? You just hear what you're hearing at that time. So you're reliving that moment again. Close your eyes and relive that moment again. You hear what you were hearing at that time, and you're feeling what you're feeling. And enjoy the moment. This is my moment of your life. This moment today might be the most beautiful. Enjoy it. Slight pressure. Enjoy it. Double the feeling. Double the feeling again. Yes. That's me. Now, slowly. Okay. How's everyone feeling? Oh my God. This is really awesome. Best of sessions have done. And Shanish, you are there. Almost everybody is, like the deepest of emotion states as of now. And how did you feel? I want someone to share. Who will share it? Start with you.
About the happy moment, I felt very peaceful. I felt very cheerful, very happy.
Excellent. And how are you feeling now? How are you feeling? Yeah. You're feeling good? Yeah. Okay. How's everyone feeling? Generally? My God. Really? How's you? How are you feeling? Okay. Some are feeling light, some are feeling really happy from inside, some are feeling overwhelmed. How are you feeling? Excellent. Right. Great. Great. And now the second part, maybe the final part, which will just be a 2-minute thing. How are you feeling, by the way? Rohit and Jayashree?
Very light.
Light, relaxed, great. Excellent.
Good, sir.
You're seeing something?
Yeah, good, sir. We are feeling good.
So you are seeing something here? Anything important? Oh, something else. Office work. Okay. I thought you were saying something. This is the moment I don't want anyone to leave. Huh? Ankita, Sohini. Okay, after this, whatever you want, you can do. But the next 5 minutes are very, very, very. Right? So tell me one thing. What was your most difficult subject in college, or like a school or college? Very difficult. Okay. Okay. How much was 79 into 79? Can you calculate it mentally? Tell me. 79 into 79. Okay, excellent. I think what we wanted is again move away from the state. Some of you would have understood. Now the final part of the state, I want you to hold both the fingers together, right? This finger and the thumb, right? And just close your eyes and relax. Both the hands, the finger and the thumb, and just relax. Close your eyes and relax. And as you continue to listen to my voice and the sounds around you, you continue to move into a very, very peaceful state. Very peaceful state. The more you become aware of the feelings inside you, peaceful state. Just continue to relax, crystal cautious. You are across the entire integration system. Being to this beautiful state, relax. Just enjoy this moment. This is the most beautiful moment in your life that you know. Maybe the most beautiful moment in your life. So you can say that. Continue to relax. Enjoy this moment. Just let go the fingers. Let go the fingers. Just leave your finger and your thumb. Continue to be in this beautiful state for some more time. Enjoy this mood. And when you're done, you can feel comfortable. Slowly open your eyes. You still feel like probably some of you are feeling drowsy a little bit. I'm using it probably some more time. I think you can just close your eyes for some more time. You can close your eyes for some more time. What's your name? Seth. Close your eyes for some more time. Just relax. You're okay. Yeah. Just close your eyes for some more time. Relax for some more time. You want? How many of you did not want to come out? You're so happy. You're so much enjoying. Great. How are you, Jayashree and Rohit?
Absolutely good, sir.
Great, great. Okay. So the last part was again the proof of the pudding being in the eating. There was one challenge everybody thought, right? And now, when you just think about it for some time, I just wait for some time, has everybody opened their eyes? Right? If you just try for a second to think about the challenge, or go back to that challenge again, problem. 90% of the cases, you won't be able to even get it. Right? Don't get too deep into it, just close your eyes and just get into that challenge. And just open your eyes back. Is it the same or it's changed? How many of it's changed? Right? The challenge is over. Right? Can you raise your hand? Or should you just come? Right? What about you? I'm feeling the same. Okay, we'll work on that. Don't worry. Everybody else? You still feeling the same? The challenge? Okay. You? Yes. Okay. Not to worry. So how many of you have really recovered from that? Okay. A big clap for all of you. Two of you, 2 or 3 of you who are still feeling that. Is it possible to share it or is it something very personal? Yeah. The reason is sometimes people would have chosen a wrong challenge. Sometimes it is not the challenge suited for this kind of stuff. But it can still be taken care of. Right? If you can understand that people are losing their tumors and people are coming out of very, very severe issues, then this challenge can be taken care of. We have worked with people with bipolar disorder, depression, people who have been on these anxiety pills for 13, 14 years, and they've come out of it. So this is possible to come out of it. But we just need to tell me that I don't know if whether it is. And can you share with me person or not? One-on-one? You can share. You can share. You can share at all. Okay. In that case, you have to have a challenge which you can share with your coach. Otherwise, it's difficult. Right? Can you share? Okay. But is it something related to a very personal issue that you face? Is it behavioral? Behavioral. Okay. So can you what you actually need to do is you just need to do this exercise once. Okay. You just need to do exactly this. You want some water? Please take some water. Okay. You just need to do this exercise once again, properly, and maybe take some more time. What's your name? Lakshita. Sunil. So 3 of you just need to do this exercise once again. Okay. Maybe after this we can do it after the session is over, or you want to do it one also, we can do that. But believe me, there is nothing which cannot be taken care of. So big round of applause to all of you. So now we have actually overcome that issue. Somebody wants to share something? Yeah? Shohini? How are you feeling? You can share that.
I'm feeling very happy and relaxed.
Okay, you are feeling happy and relaxed. So anybody here wants to share? Yeah, you can share. Was anybody having a challenge which was not very personal, which cannot be shared?
Basically, my challenge, I have little bits and pieces here and there, but mainly what I was visualizing is staying in the past.
Okay.
So yeah.
It is, you have overcome it in the last week?
I will not say 100%, but
Yeah, not 100%.
It's like I'm feeling there is a way out.
Right. So right now, you're not in the same state which you used to be when you had a challenge. Right? Right? And yeah, what about you?
Sir, I am feeling that I will be able to overcome my challenge, maybe within a time, in a due course of time. But yes,
Right.
I am confident and I will be able to.
Okay. Is the state the same or the state better?
Yes,
It is improved largely. So this exercise essentially was to also understand that it is check your state. Right? So all of you, even if the ones if you have not overcome challenge, you at least understood that your state changed. When you were thinking about, or when you were going into that state, when you were into that happy moment, or when you were thinking about achieving, something which you achieved in life, was your state different or not? All of you? Right? Great. So understanding that you can basically, you want to say something? Rohit? Okay. 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 How are you feeling? Great. Excellent. Excellent. So this shifting of state on demand is a capability which is a very, very important. Right? And when you are able to, really maintain that state, if you're able to maintain the state even when you are doing something very, very critical, is the time when you are able to do your best. Have you seen that, people going out for a championship or going out to the field of cricket and they're taking out something and looking at it, tapping their heads. So it is just that state. That's an anchor that you create. So this is an anchor which you got, which you can use at times. Right? The next hand, which was the hand you used, 3 of you? Right? Just remember that. Right? The positive one, the resourceful one. And you can use it. Right? Are you upset about something? Are you angry with something? Absolutely fine. I mean, you have the right to be angry. There's nothing wrong about being angry. Now, the biggest trouble I had when I was working in corporate for 20 years was that I was never angry. So people used to tell me, what is this? You're never angry. And then I decided that you at least have to let people know, or at least you have to pretend to be angry at times. So I had to pretend myself to be angry in an angry state for some time. And then I used to get back to state again. So, but you have to be very careful if you're pretending to be angry. Don't slip into a state where you're angry all the time. Right. So like most of the times, remember your mom and dad, sometimes even they were not angry, they were pretending to be angry. Don't do this, And suddenly they start laughing. They forget that they were pretending to be angry. Okay, so being the ability to shift on demand, right? Shift your state on demand was something which you wanted to fix. And if you have this challenge, you have to share with you, and I'm assuring you that this challenge will be taken care of. By the end of the session, we'll again do this, right? And you again, even if you don't do this exercise again, right? Just let this session be over, right? And after the session is over, you again think about it. You will definitely have improved around 70 to 80%. So some of you, 100% is taken care of, right? And for some of you, it is some percentage which is still left, 50%, 60%, right? How many of you? 50% is zyada? Okay, excellent. I'm very, very happy. And you don't worry. So you have learned one capability. Capability is to shift your state on demand, right? And the rest of it, end of the session, we'll take care of. Okay. Yeah. Very, very hungry. So I'll take 15-20 minutes more to complete this, session of the guru. Are you okay with that? You want to continue? Okay. Some people are falling in minority, but you're really, really hungry. I just can you really hold on for 15-20 minutes? Are you enjoying? Yes. Excellent. So we will continue with that part where we are talking about the goals. They will be shorter. You just mention your name and move on to your goal. Just the goal, personal and professional. The next one you say, just continue to be where you are and share it. Just stand up and share. Right?
My name is Ayushi Shah, and I'm from Vishwa. So, starting when I start from my personal goals, the first one which comes to my mind is making my parents the happiest parents ever. That they never regret that she's my daughter. And next goal which comes to the mind is to carry some word that people are around me feel fortunate that she is with me. They never feel regret that I am connected with her. Like every time I want to keep everybody around me happy and smiling. That's the main goal I do every day, and every people know that. And the next thing which comes into my personal goal list is obviously being an expert in my professional career. Whichever career I'm pursuing, the profession I'm pursuing, I want to be an expert in that. And next, everybody wants to revolve around the world. So that is the personal goals that I'm having. Next, organizational goals is first, obviously, I want to be an entrepreneur. I don't know which path I will go, but obviously, I want to be a leader someday. And I wish I could lead an organization as a successful leader, that people, the employees feel fortunate working in my organization. They want to work in my organization. I don't have to push anyone to work in the organization. And that's it.
Great.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mamta. I'm only from the Delhi. After marriage, I shifted here in Kolkata. So, as for my personal goals, some are very personal to me. So, whichever I can share, I tell you. First of all, I want peace and happiness for myself. That is my first personal goal. Second, be grateful and be only in the moment. I would like to achieve for myself because journey I just shared years before that I pursue myself, connect with my past and everything. And I am a little creative. My little creative part always says to as Madhu says, be an influencer on the YouTuber someday, maybe after 5 years or 10 years. I want to do something for animals. I am very attached with animals, especially for dogs. I want to do something for them. And of course, I want to, as I have certain my personal, I want to meet my pop star. I adore them, so I want to meet them someday. So I want to go South Korea or so yeah. So yes, this is my personal goal, which I can share with you guys. And so organization. I'm very blessed. Yes. So basically, I'm here to learn and I'm willing to learn and be expertise what we are at.
Thank you.
I just want to be happy. This is my personal goal.
That's very
And the
important.
second thing is, I want to stop my work.
Oh, cool. Very good.
And the third thing is, I want to be so rich that I don't have to think about buying anything. The fourth one is, I also want to stop it and see my bags over there and the front seat of the show. And the third thing is, I want to make my parents happy and proud. Though they are proud, still I want to achieve more so that we can be proud more. And the organization goal is that I want to work efficiently as well as grow as an individual as a person. That's it. Good afternoon, sir. My name is Sudha Kalwar and I'm training over here. I've joined this firm in the month of April. And my personal goal is I want to be happy, good health for me and for my family, and want to get success. Like I want to qualify CS and then want to set up a company maybe after 10 years. Want to make it come under top 100 company as per the market capitalization. Then give employment to like socially challenged people. This came to my mind when I went to KFC. And right now, didn't employ them, but earlier I used to like employ physically challenged people. So this was like that time it came to my mind. Then want to set up a system like kind of NGO like that. Means I want to provide at least 2 times meal to like every people who are below poverty line. To do some social work. Like these are the things and like an organizational work. I want to learn from my senior Ankita ma'am, Adrian and Mamta ma'am. They are very confident and hardworking and trying to adapt their confidence and everything and yeah, just try to improve. Thank you.
You're done.
Good afternoon. My name is Mamta. And my personal goals are I want to have a healthy body and healthy mind. I want to marry. And have a family. Great. I want to grow. I have a business and I want to grow it in someday. I want to own a shop and I want to travel and meet people and learn from their experiences. And my organizational goals are that I want to be more disciplined and I want to improve on my emotional life. I don't think I fit in a workplace as of now. And but I want to equip myself with skills so that when I don't have to like maybe like I don't trust a work, I have to check it again.
My name is Vibhor. My personal goals are that the most important goal is that I want to be happy in life. Wherever I am and whatever I'm doing, I want to be happy. And the second goal is that I want to travel different countries across the world. I love traveling, and I also want to run a restaurant in future. I have a very small channel. Sorry, I mean food blog on Instagram. I used to go to food tasting events, but due to my studies and I have become busy due to my studies and all. I have to stop that. And I want to do something good for I mean something remarkable for my family, for my parents.
Lovely.
So my organizational goal is that firstly the most important thing is I have really got great seniors. Ankita ma'am, Bharti ma'am, they also don't want to be called as ma'ams. Like the first day, since the very first day, Bharti ma'am told me that don't call me ma'am, call me Didi.
Excellent.
I want to learn from my seniors and grow with the organization.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vishal Sam, And first, my goal is I want to become a joy boy. This is a character for my anime, which name is One Piece. Joy boy means a person who is have the capability of making everyone happy, which is around him or around the society also. Second, I want to be a teacher. Uh, Teacher who teach us about the not only the knowledge but also for future goals and everything which which we want to help in our future also. And I want to buy a Jaguar. It's my person. And I want to also buy a house. But I'm just a later. And I also want my family to make happy for born week because I don't want that if anyone, not only my parents, it's also anyone will regret me to have in their life. And I also want to visit every places which we are getting knowledge from our mythology. Because in our culture right now, we are also forgetting our mythological work also. So I want to visit all the places and every temples which are vanished from our cultures. And for organizational goal, I want to open a charity which helps students to be knowledge about their to make themselves rich and everything. First of all, and then I want to be a highest paid CS in our country also.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Vibhor. My personal goal is I want to gain more knowledge. And I'm not talking about only studies, but also the cultural knowledge and everything else. I don't want to keep myself restricted to my studies only. Then it's like everybody else, I want to travel the world, try the cuisines, and being happy, um, and keeping my family happy. In organization goal, first goal that I have that after I complete my training, I want to make sure that both my trainers are like, I'm so glad that she was here. And then I really want to be a really good CS, like somebody else take my example that if you want to do anything, like achieve your dreams like her.
My name is Sakit Mishra, and I am starting with my personal goal. My first personal goal is to give my parents everything what they deserve. Second one is that I want to learn different skills that out of box, like something in music, something painting, others, etc. Next, I want to start a business with my partner. Small business. And I want to travel in world and my family. Right. I want to be a good leader. I also want to be an entrepreneur. Okay. And I'm trying to do that. So I made mistakes in my work, but I am trying working hard to rectify all the mistakes.
My name is Balrani and my personal goal is like I want to build my dream home and I want to travel with my family one to this week. And I just want I have something on my mind which I have been stuck from the past few years. I want to improve that. And as far as my professional goals are concerned, I want to get my CS degree and build my business. That's my thing.
So my personal goals are I want to travel the world. That is like the number one. I love the food culture across India, and I really want to expand. And I really love eating and making other people eat around me. So I want to work in that environment someday, and I really want to own a cafe or something food related. I want to help in education of children. Like I feel very privileged that way that we've got a steady education. So if I could help nurture children, I would really want to do that. And I really want to maintain a good and stable mental health for myself. And like, I want to keep people around me happy, but not people pleased to the point that I am getting separated. And as far as my organizational goals are concerned, I want to be a knowledgeable professional, and I don't want to stop the learning mindset. Like I always want to learn from people around.
Excellent. I'm from
Very obvious.
my personal goals. I want to build up my own t-shirt brand. So I want to buy my own house. And I want to go to China platform. वो वाले शॉप है कि 7 दिन 7 अलग गाड़ियों में कलर के साथ वाओ everybody just what is saying?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ravi Sharma. So, first of all, my personal goal is to have a happy and peaceful life. And second, to buy a home and to travel with my parents. First of all over India, and then abroad. And after that, last to enjoy the life according to my own wish. As far as organizational goals are concerned, to achieve my CS degree first. And after that, to grow and person good to earn money and do whatever I want in the future.
My personal goals, I want to be happy, to be less anxious, to buy my own home, not house, my home. यहाँ ये नहीं बोले कि ये तुम्हारा घर नहीं है, जैसे घर में बहुत लोग बोलते कि तुम्हारा घर नहीं है, वहाँ बोलते तुम्हारा घर नहीं है. मैं अपना आंसर देना चाहती हूँ जो मेरा But now we are in state, we can understand me, right? I don't know again. I don't know the Punjabi singer. I love him. I love him. To make my parents proud, to repay them for what they have done for me, for organizational goals.
Excellent, excellent. Good. And organization, anything else you have? Great.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Moshe Gas, and I'm from Hyderabad. Starting from my personal goals, I think one thing that has always been in my mind is owning an animal shelter. So I want to do something for them because they're also part of our they're also the citizens of this country. So this is my one focus goal. And the other one is to make people happy. I love to crack jokes and I want to contribute to that. And my moving on to my organizational goals. First of all, I want to be the best trainee here. I already have. Yes. And I love good. And the next one is obviously to get the CSD.
With a smile on your face. More hands.
My name is Sunil Sharma. And as far as my personal goals are concerned, one of the top most priority is being satisfied. Then I love to write. I want to be a poet.
Oh, wow. What English, Hindi, what is it? You have something you can share to us? Lovely.
जब आंखें जो मिली तुझसे मैं उनमें डूबता सा चला गया जब आंखें जो मिली तुझसे मैं उनमें डूबता सा चला गया जब मुस्कुराया जो तूने मैं तुझसे खिंचता सा चला गया जब हाथ जो थामा तेरा हाथ छूटता सा चला जब आंखें जो मिली तुझसे मैं उनमें डूबता सा चला गया जब मुस्कुराया जो तूने मैं तुझसे खिंचता सा चला गया जब हाथ जो थामा तेरा हाथ छूटता सा चला गया जब तू गायब सी होने लगी तब वो सपना टूटता सा चला Second, be healthy and keep people around healthy and to maintain work-life balance. And I'm also very distant from my family for quite a while. And actually, I'm very foodie. And I miss my mother's food. That's especially food in the family. Because I'm fond of and as far as my organization goes, top most is like to bring deliverables thanks to my firm. And also to justify my proposal. So that's all. My name is Dad, and my name is Jenny here. And my personal goal is I want to become a teacher and teach thousands of students across India over the world. And I want to have a good partner in my life. And I want to become a photographer and a part-time brother. And also, I want to become a social activist who help poor students. And my organizational goals are I want to become a good professional and want to learn everything, always be open to learn from everyone, whether it is junior, they are junior or senior, and I want to teach everyone.
Speaking about sharing your goals, I think the biggest thing that happens is that if you have noticed, if all of you have noticed, did somebody note down when somebody was speaking? I think 2 or 3 of you were noting down. That sometimes the neurology, changes. The neurology of the person changes the moment you speak about the goals, right? And the moment, because you remember when people started talking, some of them became very, very emotional, right? And some people became very, very ecstatic when they talked about their experience or the goals. Because if the clarity is there, and the time when your neurology knows about the goals, it automatically, if the clarity of the goal is to that extent, that is 100 out of 100, then the neurology learns ways and means to figure out how you can achieve that. So an exercise which we do, which is belief in brain, is actually that, that you are figuring out how it is happening. Now, what you did just now is not just about saying, it is about learning to achieve what you want to achieve. When you have a challenge and you have your strengths. When you are trying to merge both of them, when you're trying to integrate both of them, you are able to actually excel and achieve what you want to achieve. So we have learned about goal setting. We have also understood or got a hang about how alignment happens, both personal and professional. Because I think we never did that. Did you ever do that? I don't think you ever did that in life. So this is the first time you did it. And you share it with people. And when you speak it out, with a lot of conviction, what happens is that your neurology falls in line. We also learned about how you can get into a superior state of mind. We did a visualization exercise. We'll just do one more 1 minute exercise. Before that, two very, very important skills again, which are left. The one which I talk about is being able to shift into peak performance state, right? To be able to do that peak performance state. Maybe the next time when we do a session and we have a longer session, we will do something about how you can get into that peak performance state. So when I work with sports people, I'm working currently with somebody who aims to be the national champion for boxing, right? So it's not an easy thing. It sounds funny, but being a national champion for that matter into anything is not a matter of joke. So you need to have an altered state goal. Everything is fine, but there has to be a moment at that particular moment you have to be a peak performance state, you know. And that particular thing is a very, very important capability of a genius. When you want to be a genius, even if you are drawing or you are into art, besides being in altered state, you are into your best performance state at that particular point of time. In addition to that, cross mapping. The reason why we do sessions or we learn from, the biggest mistake that people make in life is just to focus on that one single field that I have. So doctors mixing only with doctors, chartered accountants hanging out with chartered accountants, and maybe the actors hanging out with actors. Do you think it's the best thing to do? Probably the worst thing to do, because most of the times cross mapping, being able to acquire skills from people from different backgrounds is something there you become much, much, much more skilled and much more capable, right? And that is the reason that when you had somebody like Einstein or somebody like a Newton playing the guitar or listening to music or meditating, otherwise they were not fools to do that, right? And now what we do exactly is that you have to do this. The next time when we do, we'll be budding up. We'll be having a buddy each, and we'll focus on capabilities and goals for each other, right? And before we break off, and what we need to do is just for a minute, you close your eyes and think about that goal which you want to achieve. One single goal. Close your eyes, everybody, and think about that one goal which is the most important goal of yours, which you want to achieve, right? And see a picture of yourself. See yourself after you have achieved the goal, right? After you have achieved the goal. How do you look? Is there a smile on your face? What exactly are you wearing? How is your body language? Are you confident? Are you happy? Are you content? Are you smiling? You have achieved what you wanted to achieve, right? Feel that. And bring it slightly closer to you, slightly closer, slowly and slowly. And just relax. You see a lot of people already there. They can see themselves achieve the goal. Now you can slowly open your eyes. Some people don't want to come out of it. How are you feeling? The level of certainty, of having or being able to be there, has the level of certainty increased inside you? Yes, because the visualization is the most powerful thing that you can do in your life. And don't do any of these exercises daily, which we talked about, except for this one that you can see yourself. All right? Maybe once in the day, right? This is not something like yoga which you need to do it. This once, okay? And just as it is said, that when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? I also think at the same time that when the teacher is ready, the student appears. So I'm really, really happy, and I extend my gratitude to all of you to have been here, to have been with me for all the time. And a trance, the topic which I'm writing on is break your trance. But I believe, or I operate from a faith, that a trance or a hypnotic pattern can happen any point of time. It can happen not only when I'm taking you into a deeper state of, your body or your neurology, but also at the time when you're talking to people, listening to things around you, people are speaking around you, you can get into that hypnotic frame of mind. And the idea is to actually break that trance and get into that highest performance state or that altered state wherever you want to be, right? And the desired state where you actually want to be, rather than the trance which you were always in. So the conversational part of it, which I believe most of you would have understood right now, is if there was a camera to have focused on all of you, I would have shown all of you that at some point of time or the other, whenever I'm speaking at any of the programs or seminars, at least for a 10 to 15 minutes phase, everybody would be in a trance. That is a time when you feel that there would be a time when you feel you can't really relate to what is happening around you. You know, you are getting into a deeper state. It happened with all of you at some point of time. That is the time when all of you went into that trance, right? And that is the time when actually most of the work happened inside. Right? This is what the power of conversational programming is. And I'm sure you enjoyed all of this. And I remember because he was sharing about, shared a couple of lines from his poetry. One very, very famous line, which I remember, because when I wanted to have my coach, and my coach was there, like just like you guys are happy to have your coach, I'm happy to have my coaches there. Was I thought, what I said was that दिल तड़प रहा है एक नजर के लिए और एक नजर ही काफी है उम्र भर के लिए. Wish you all the best, right? And all the success in life. And take care of yourself. Right? Thank you so much.
I'm sure you experience a very different kind of training program. It's not a normal जैसे seminar workshop होता है. इस तरह का कभी भी आप लोगों ने experience नहीं किया होगा, right? So this is what transformation coaching is about. We also do one-on-one coaching because हम लोग में आपस में बहुत हम लोग जानते हैं दूसरे को जो stress में रहते हैं या बहुत ज़्यादा यानी they need therapies of different pattern. So you can definitely get in touch. एक चीज और which I would like to share with you, when I was your age, मेरी भी बहुत इच्छा थी social work करने की, charity करने की. So my personal mission in my life is to empower 1 lakh women. And recently we have been able to open our own foundation, which is called Mantras Foundation, and you are all invited there to join as members. क्योंकि क्या होता है हम लोग की सबका मन रहता है करने का, but we cannot open, बहुत लेट हो जाती है. So a lot of people have already joined. We have animals, friends for animals, एक forum है friends for animals, like, and दुर्गापुर में एक lady है, we are supporting her. She is already built an animal shelter. तो हम लोग इस तरह कई कामों में साथ में जुड़ के कर सकते हैं. We have education for children. We have food for farmers, which is a very different concept because we don't believe in giving free food to anyone. Food for farmers में हम लोग we are giving fruit trees to farmers. It's a very, very big concept. We are actually helping them come out of poverty line, from below poverty line to above poverty line. And ये fruit for, this is one of my passion because I'm working with villages a lot. And so we have different forums. Youth forum hai, animals hai. So if you are interested, if you would like to join, because we all have to collaborate together for doing some great work. So you're all invited to be members in that. एक immediate जो हम लोग कर रहे हैं इसमें, हम लोग हमारी रक्षा जो हम लोग की रक्षा करते हैं सैनिक भाइयों के लिए राखी बेच रहे हैं. And we have a target of 1 lakh राखीज. Anyone can contribute. It's just simple सादी राखी, कोई पैकिंग नहीं चाहिए. अगर आप लोग करते हो, आप लोग अपने लोकल कम्युनिटी में भी इकट्ठा कर सकते हो, खुद से कर सकते हो. 100 एक लिफाफा एनवेलप में आप अपना नाम और प्लेस कैलकाटा या जहाँ से भी, we are collecting entire Calcutta from schools everywhere. So if you are interested in that, you can do it by 1st, 2nd August because we have to send it before because it will travel. हम लोग की राखियाँ पिछले साल भी गई थी and we got so many messages from entire border. This is the most beautiful thing because जो हम लोग का distribution channel है ना, it's reaching all the border areas. So this is something which makes me also overwhelmed. So if you wish to be a part of this beautiful mission, you can also contribute to Rakhis. Yes. So 2 years back, I was also like बहुत कुछ करने की इच्छा रहती है, but we don't know what clarity. So जब हमको बोलते हैं ना बच्चे लोग, हम लोग को clarity नहीं, हमने हम लोगों में बहुत लेट से आई. So this is a process in life. So now 2 years back, when I see myself, I didn't know where to reach. At least now that vision is clear, and people are telling me that you are a totally different person. Transformation happens there. Thank you. And he's my coach.
Thank you. So now we'll just break off, and the last thing which we do is we'll just clap. Okay. We'll clap. We'll clap in a rhythm, right? All of us together in the rhythm. And if somebody changes the rhythm for just 1 minute, in between somebody changes, you'll try to align with the rhythm. And you just look at each other and smile. And then we break off. Okay. And we'll take the after that. So we start. You lead. Okay, start. Thank you so much. All the best. Stay blessed. Thank you.
Would you like to share your experience?
You to ask.